High amidst the jagged peaks of the West Pine Mountains, the Blood Lord has bound himself by a dread oath to the demon Nalazar, granting him immense power and a host of Ethyrial legions. Within the shadowed ancient halls of the Citadel, brave souls must confront unspeakable fiends and unravel the dark horrors within, lest the shadow of ruin fall and the world of Iromisa be consumed by an unending tide of doom. So, you wanna challenge the Blood Lord himself? Well, you're in for a hell of a fight. This isn't just like most of the other dungeons in the game, it's a full-blown war against the avatar of pure demonic power. In this video, I'll walk you through everything you need to know to defeat the Blood Lord and survive the horrors of Bloodoath Citadel. Let's get into it. Before you even think to step inside this dungeon, there is some prep work you have to do. First, you need to be attuned. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But furthermore, I also highly recommend that you bring very good food and high tier potions. I recommend every player has at least 5,000 health and you wear a level 38 gear or above and have combat level 38 or above. One of the parties should have a brawler's pack, and the healer should be able to cleanse curses. So typically we bring a druid, for example. And at least one person in the group should have level 40 or above in all of the harvesting skills. To get attuned, you need to collect 50 pages from the fiends outside the dungeon. Once you've gathered 50 pages, you need to head to the blood altar by the southern gate. There you must perform the ritual. Please take care that the ritual does a lot of damage to you, and if you die, you have to start over gathering all the 50 pages again. So make sure you bring some form of heat. Now you're ready to go inside the dungeon. Head inside from the north entrance of the dungeon. It's by the boneyards. When inside, you will face the Wraith. The Wraith is a boss, where the tank needs to go in and grab the aggro. Here is why you need the Brawler. Brawler needs to interrupt the ability Gore every time it pops up. If you fail to interrupt this ability, the target of the Wraith will die. The reason we use the Brawler is because they have the most effective and low cooldown interruption. At 50% health, the Wraith starts triggering the Blood Dance. The Blood Dance will teleport everyone around the room. During this phase, you just have to burn him down fast. This will stop the Blood Dance. We recommend stacking in the middle because then you don't have to go too far every time you have to interrupt the Gore, because the Wraith will instantly shadow step behind anyone when he does the Gore, which can make it hard for the Brawler to interrupt it if it's too far away. Other than that, when you've killed the Wraith, just head down to the left, where you will, under the coffin, find a ladder. To go down there, you need to face the wall, and then you can change the camera, and then you hit the ladder below, and then your character will go there and go downstairs. Just follow the path from there and go downwards when you find a fork in the road. Down here in the bottom of the chasm, you will find the Shadow Weaver. The Shadow Weaver is a boss which has 3 mechanics. Firstly, it has the kiss. Whoever gets kissed must stop dealing damage. If not, this debuff will heal the boss based on the damage that the player does. In order to remove this, you have to have the healer cleanse this debuff. So it's very high priority for the healer to cleanse debuff during this fight. Furthermore, she has an ability Dark Singularity. This has to be interrupted. The more the better. You can survive it, but the more time she casts it, I believe the damage goes up. And if you have a long fight with low damage, she will start one-shotting people with this ability. She also has some few summons that come, these shadow manipulation spiders. If your group has passive AoE, it should be no problem. But if you have no AoE, you might have to focus them down, because if there's too many of them, it can overload the damage on the tank. When you've killed her, go get the Singularity ore and head upstairs. Once you hit the top of the stairs, you will now be at the courtyard of the Citadel. Here, chop the Bloodoath tree and continue down the path. Here you will find a group of fiends and summoners. These are fairly simple to kill, but be aware of this first group with 2 fiends, because the fiends have a very high damage hemorrhage, and it does percentage max damage. So with 2 of these on you, even the biggest, fattest tanks will get shredded. So be careful, stock up on defensive abilities and healing pots, because they hurt like a bitch. Once you've cleared the courtyard, gather all the resources, remember to skin the fiends, and get ready to head inside the library. Inside the library, you just kill the librarian. He has 1 mechanic. There will be fireballs everywhere. The tank goes to the other side of the librarian, and he will get demonic back shots for the whole duration of the fight. Everyone else will just have to fight for themselves and try to dodge the fireballs. He also does a debuff, which reduces the max HP of the tank, but it usually is not too big of a problem. Once you're done with the librarian, head down the stairs again, follow the bridge. Here you will find the Blood Knight. The Blood Knight is one of the more difficult encounters, because some of his mechanics sometimes overlaps. The tank goes into the center, holds him there. Here you will periodically call out if he does the Bloodburst attack. This Bloodburst will create a red circle or an aura around him, and right after this aura starts glowing red, and he will go boom. So try to avoid that. After that, he will displace a player, teleporting to a random area in the platform. And while he does that, he will also, right after, curse a player. That player will have blood bubbles. These bubbles gather around the player, and so must the other players, because this damage will kill anyone who does not have anyone around them, because this damage will split among all the players who receive it. So everyone must go stack on the cursed player. You have to be aware that sometimes these mechanics can overlap, and we have seen many times that you go to stack on the blood bubbles, and right after he does the blood burst, so he does the 1-2 combo, and then you're all dead. To counteract this, maybe gather blood bubbles away from the tank. I think most of the time 4 people can share the damage, and then you can also dodge the blood burst right after. Those are the 2 mechanics. The main problem is the overlap of them. Other than that, it's quite simple to do. When you're done, just head back where you came. Now you have cleared everything in the dungeon, and now you're ready to face the Bloodlord himself. You could have tried to beat him earlier, but he gets 100% extra damage per boss they're still alive, so I do not recommend it. He has 3 mechanics. The first one is his Reap. It's a sweeping AoE where he swipes with his axe. If you are hit by this Reap, you will get a debuff. This debuff makes you immune to his other ability, Blood Nova, but it also comes with some negatives. First off, every time anyone gets hit with this ability, he gets an increasing counter of damage. Next up, if anyone with this ability or this debuff runs into any of the blood circles on the ground, you will remove the blood circle and kill your whole team. While this is happening, he also periodically does Bloodburst. This Bloodburst is opposite of the previous Bloodburst. You have it on the player instead. One player will be called out and they have to run away from the group, otherwise they will damage everyone. If you manage to dodge the Reap every time he does that, and you manage to drop the Bloodburst every time he does that, your group will be ready for when he does Blood Nova. This ability will kill everyone. So make sure everyone gathers in the same blood circle. Everyone except the tank must go there. The tank is immune because of the Reap debuff, but everyone else will go into these blood circles. The last circle will disappear after 5 minutes, so make sure not to use all of them at once and, take one at a time. Again, I just want to mention, make sure everyone who is in the circle doesn't have the Reap debuff, because if they do, the circle will disappear and everyone in the whole group will die. The reason the Reap debuff removes the circle is because the Reap debuff drains the circle to reset the counter of the boss. So you have to balance it between Reap debuffs and making sure everyone is not dying to the Nova. I'm sure there are multiple ways of doing this, but this is the way I recommend it. When the Bloodlord falls, you'll receive schematics for 2 level 40 armors. And then make sure to loot the final chest. There's always a few extra goodies inside. And that's it. Now you got what it takes to bring down the Bloodlord himself. Good luck, adventurer. I'll see you in the Bloodoath Citadel.